Hello everyone, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Carla Coleman, Director of Communications for New Salem Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio. And we're here again to talk about wellness, talk about just what can we do to just be healthier. And so come on into the chat, say hello, get your questions ready, because we have with us tonight Brother Terry Harden II, and he is going to talk to you about his weight loss journey. Boy, I had an opportunity to talk with Terry earlier today. It is totally inspiring. I've had my own journey with weight loss. I know many of you have as well. I get tickled when I think about even in high school when I was um, running track or in cheerleading, and I had a girlfriend who, no matter what she ate, it just burned it right off. She was always skinny. In fact, I just saw her on Facebook, and there she was again. I'm going, oh my God, where I put something close to my mouth and I gain a pound. So it is a journey for everyone. And I'm just so inspired and so happy to have Terry with us tonight to tell us just what inspired him to look at his health, look at his weight, and make a decision to lose the weight. So Terry, say hello. Terry, can you hear us? Oh, we must be having some technical difficulties. Hold on, we'll just wait and see if we can get Terry back online here. Terry, are you with us? Not yet. Okay, well, hold on for just a second, everyone. We're going to see if we can get Terry online here. He is a member of New Salem Baptist Church and a long-term member, and we're just excited that he was able to join us today. His Instagram handle, if you want to go out there while we're waiting, is hashtag just a dope dad. And he shares his journey right there on his Instagram page. Lots of pictures and discussion about, what it took to get started, how, the hurdles that he actually were able to clear, and how he was able to lose 100 pounds, 200 pounds actually more in a matter of a year. So if you could just wait for a second, we should have Terry on shortly.
Hey, Carla, text me his cell phone number, please. Yeah, he disconnected.
Okay. All right. He says he's frozen. 1 second.
Yeah, I think he accidentally disconnected.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're live.
Yeah, live is always fun, everyone. Trust me. Yeah, trust me.
Just tell him to reconnect.
Okay. I just sent you his information. Alrighty. So in the meantime, while we're waiting on Terry to get loaded in, why don't we look at, and just if you have some questions or something that you're on your mind relative to weight loss, put it in the chat. We'll take a look at it and we'll talk about it while we're waiting on Terry. A lot of folks here excited to hear his story. This will give everyone a little more time to get in. I see more people joining the chat, so that's good. Come on in. We'll have him ready to go in just a few minutes. One of the first questions in the chat, and this is something we're going to start talking about immediately, is what was it that triggered you to start your journey? So we will be asking Terry that very shortly. Mike, why don't you put up a poll real quick and ask the question, have you... Oh, there he is. Are you there, Terry? Are you there, Terry?
I am here. I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Oh, definitely. It's good to have you. Good to have you.
Yes.
So
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. No, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah, you stay where you are. Stay where you are.
Stay where you are. Don't
They
move.
trying to shine today.
Don't move.
So don't move. Just stay right where you are.
I lost you.
Okay.
We lost him again.
There you are.
Okay.
Okay.
There he is. Excellent. Okay, Terry, you with us?
I am with you. Thank you so much for your patience. I don't know what's going on. I'm here. Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. So great. We were just saying to say hello and to tell us a little bit about yourself, Terry.
Unreal. I don't know what's going on.
Wow, we're having trouble. Is he moving?
Terry, don't move. Don't move.
Don't move,
Absolutely.
Terry.
I had to come upstairs. Maybe my downstairs. I was. Look, I'm moving. I'm trying to find a way to make it work today. So I apologize. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
I said we're gonna make it
pretty
make
outside. Okay. All right. So Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself and go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here today to share my journey and hopefully help encourage and inspire somebody else on their journey. My weight loss journey has been just what I said. It has been a journey. I have battled with weight my entire life, going up and down on the scale, trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be. And I thought I was supposed to be big. I just got comfortable being the weight that I was. And it wasn't until really the summer of 2019 where I had a conversation with a friend of mine. You all are familiar with him because he's involved in the church. Mr. Gavin Banks. We worked together at Bank of America, and we went together on lunch one day, and I don't remember if we were eating lunch or going to get lunch. In that moment, he looked at me and said, "I don't want you to die." And to have a friend, to have somebody that truly cared about me, say that to me, it didn't. A great place. And when he said it truly changed my life, because at that moment we started working out together. He committed to making sure that he took the time to go to the gym with me. We used our lunch breaks to go to the gym. And that was my aha moment of like, wow, I have a friend that truly cares about me, but not just cares enough to tell me, but he was there to put in the work with me. So that summer of 2019, I started going to the gym 5 times a week, and I didn't do anything crazy. I told him, I said, if I'm gonna come with you, you got to work with me. I'm jumping back in, and he did just that. He put me through some interval training. We did some treadmill on incline, but he worked at my pace and he made me comfortable. And I think that was the biggest thing, was like, man, I had somebody that truly believed in me. He knew how much my family meant to me, my wife, my kids. So to have a friend commit to that, that was the first moment. And I was over 430 plus pounds at that time. So when he said it again, it came from a good place. That November of 2019, I made my first doctor's appointment. I felt a little bit more comfortable for going because I had worked out for a little bit. I knew they were going to tell me some stuff I didn't want to hear, but I said, at least if I can get it down by the summer, when I go in November, at least it'd be a little bit better than it probably was in the summertime. So I scheduled an appointment. And I stepped on the scale and I weighed in at 430 pounds. It was such a huge moment because at that moment, I almost wanted to die because I did not know I was that big. I had avoided the scale for so long. So to see that number, it broke my heart, but it also was a life-changing moment where I said, you know what? I want to live. I want to be around for a long time. So I made a decision at that point. I said, you know what? I'm going to take my health back. Like, I have control over it. So what can I do? I prayed about it. I prayed heavily that, look, God, I have a wife. I have kids. Like, I want to be around. What can I do? So I looked into a few different things. I knew I wanted to continue working out, but I also looked into bariatrics. And if those of you are not familiar with that, it's weight loss surgery. So I found a program here in Columbus, Ohio, through Ohio Health, and it was a weight management program. But I'll tell you, that program for me, life-changing. And it was life-changing in the sense that I became knowledgeable stuff that I never knew. At 34 years old, I didn't know how to read nutrition labels. I didn't understand nutrition labels, what it meant, what the sugars, the carbs. I mean, I kind of had a slight idea, but they taught me how to read it. They taught me the right foods to put into my body. And it was like in the class and learning health all over again. And I learned so much that I wanted to share it. I shared it with my wife. I shared it with my kids. And from November of 2019 to March of 2020, I dropped 80 pounds. And that was literally me just changing my lifestyle. And that's why I say it's how change. It's not just it's not just the surgery. I had to change my entire life and think about the things that I was putting in my body. So from that point, I had dropped 80 pounds prior to March 13th. I shared with you earlier today in our conversation when I got the call on when my surgery date would be. They told me it was going to be Friday the 13th. And I said, oh, God, this just a sign that I shouldn't move forward. But I did my research. I tell you, prior to, I was ignorant. I didn't know what it was, the bariatrics. I didn't, I thought it was, hey, you go have surgery, they suck out your weight and you good to go. So I wasn't knowledgeable of it. But once I did my research, I said, you know what? I've battled with yo-yo dieting and dropping 20, gaining 30, dropping 30, gaining 20 my entire life. And I wanted something that was going to last a long time. And again, that program, it changed my life. So when they called me and said my date was Friday the 13th, I said, oh, this is God telling me not to move forward. But I had to pray about that too. And I was fortunate enough to get in right before the pandemic really hit. It was that weekend before everything in the world shut down. And that's why I know it was meant for me to happen, because I was able to get in right in the nick of time. My surgery went well. I did end up having the VSG sleeve. That is where they take a portion of your stomach and they shrink it down. So my stomach is about 30% the size of what it was. And what that does is allow you to intake smaller portions of food. So it is a lifestyle change. There are people who have that procedure and you can still gain weight because your stomach is an organ. It can stretch right back out. So it's very important to understand, what am I doing, right? What am I putting in my body? Because it is lifelong. So you have to be knowledgeable of what you're doing to be able to be successful. I'm happy to say I am a little over a year out since my surgery, and I am down 196 pounds. So it has been a blessing. It has been life-changing. Thank you. And I try to be very transparent about my journey. I'll tell you, in the African-American community, when you talk VSG, when you talk bariatrics, it's taboo. It's a secret. And to each is their own. That, nothing against anybody. But I told myself, when I go through this, I want to talk about it. It's something that has changed my life. So I'll never be ashamed of it, because it basically gave me a second chance at life. Again, it was the best thing for me. It's not for everybody, but I would tell you, I'm an open book. I share a lot of my journey through my Instagram account at Just a Dope Dad on Instagram, where I'm sharing, transformation pics, but I'm responding to DMs. I'm answering questions because it has been so life-changing to me. And how selfish would that be for me to hold in that information when I could be helping and hopefully inspiring somebody else? But there's a lot of information that goes into it. There's a lot of changes that you have to make. I tell anybody that's considering it, it's not just the surgery. It's not the easy way out, as some people may believe. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. I still work out. I still have to eat the right foods. I allow myself grace, right? So while I'm saying I'm eating good, every now and again, I like cookies. I might have a cookie every now and again, right? But you have to be able to balance it out. You have to make sure you don't stay in that moment. So if you fall off the beaten path, which we all do at times because we're human, you got to remember, don't stay in that moment. Pick yourself back up. And I think the biggest thing I'll leave with before I move on to any questions is, you got to figure out your why. Why is this journey so important to you? Why do you want to lose weight? For me, it was bigger than me. I felt like I looked like the flyest cat at 430 pounds. So it wasn't a look thing for me. It was a health thing. And I have a wife and kids that need me, that depend on me. So it was me saying, I got to be around for a long time for them versus anything else. So I'm glad I changed my life. Again, I've been able to share my journey. I've been able to help other people that were debating, that were on the fence. I've been able to talk through it with other people, and I share with anybody that's on here today. Again, if you follow my Instagram account, you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, I'm always willing to share what worked for me, what helped for me, whether it's the foods I eat on a day-to-day, whether it's the workouts I do, because I still do all of that. But to go from a 5XL down to an XL, from a 52 pants to a 36, I'm feeling good. I know I'm looking good. I know I need to clean this up, but outside of that, I'm looking good, and I'm enjoying life. So,
well, that's what's most important, and I'm so excited to hear such a successful journey. I know it wasn't easy, and but to have that friend with you along the way, that's just priceless. It's just priceless. And I just want to
absolutely.
talk a little bit about, it was a big risk for Gavin to say that to you, but it's even bigger for you to be able to receive it, because that's the hard part. I know even for myself, if I know someone, a friend or family member, that I want to say it to them, but I'm afraid that, of the consequences of actually being that honest,
Yeah.
and how they're going to receive it.
Well, I think for me, knowing Gavin and him being a friend of mine, I knew his heart, right? I knew he didn't mean any harm when he said it. When he looked at it, he had passion in his eyes. And he didn't just say it and leave it at that, right? When he said it, he came with something like, I see you. I don't want you to die, but I want to help you, right? So the fact that he followed up with, hey, look, I care about you, but I care about you so much that I'm going to commit to going with you, right? He didn't just say, here goes some workouts, look at these YouTube videos and all of that. It was like, hey, look, let's go. Like, we're going to make time. We're going to put in our schedule. Just like we plan to go to lunch together, we're going to plan to go to the gym together. And we made it a habit, right? That was a thing that we committed to, he committed to. And I tell you, I had to commit with it as well, because so often I had worked out 2 or 3 days a week and be like, I don't feel like it, but he was my accountability partner. I tell you, there's a story I'll share with you about him, but I told him I wanted him to hold me accountable. And he'll laugh if he's watching, if he hears this, but we had a potluck at work. And when I'm telling you, he almost smacked the plate out my hand when I went to go grab some extras, and there was some stuff. But that's a friend, right? Because I asked him to hold me accountable, and I had a weak moment. I'm like, oh, this potluck time. That's before the pandemic. Potlucks, I'm not eating nobody's potluck now, but pre-pandemic, it was potlucks, and I was enjoying it. And I remember fixing a plate, and I mean, he looked at me and said, you better put that down. And I'm like, man, he sounded like my dad, but he cared about me. And that is the thing about Gavin. If you know Gavin, he has an amazing heart. And the fact that I had a friend that cared that much, that wanted to help me, but also held me accountable in the workplace. And if y'all know Gavin, he kind of soft-spoken, but when it came to helping me, he wasn't soft-spoken at all. It was, you're not about to eat that. No, you're not. And I said, I guess you're right. I'm not. But I had a friend in him, man. And I'll forever give him thanks for being that initial push and start to help me change my journey. And it started with him. It ended with me. But I have support of my wife, right? That's huge. I want to give her credit as well, because she had to stop what she was cooking. We was eating fried foods and pork chops and all of that stuff and fried this and that. And she had to change her lifestyle in a sense to be able to say, look, hey, babe, I want to change my life, but I'm going to need your help. And that was huge for her, right? Because we were so comfortable with the way we were eating, our lifestyle. So for me to make a decision that I would say was for me, even though it was for the family, it affected them. So I had to have her support in the household too. So I had support at work, but I also had support at home with a wife that made sure I had the right things to be able to consume, which was amazing as well. So I'm blessed and fortunate to where I know a lot of people don't have that support, which is why I open myself up to say, I'll be an ear for you. I'll talk to you. I'll support you wherever I can, because I was blessed enough to have this support on my journey. And the amount of support I've received after it's crazy. I know some people say people are judgmental. You ain't got time to be judgmental with me, because I'm going to call it out. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to tell you all about my journey. There's no hidden secrets. If you ask me, what did I do? I'm going to tell you, right? I'm going to say, I worked out. I worked out like crazy. I dropped
Oh no. Lost
Found still have
just a
VSG, and that was another major part of my journey. Many pieces of puzzle.
Hold on, we're losing you a little bit there. Can you repeat what you just said, Terry?
Yes, ma'am. I sure will. Can you hear me now?
Oh, hold on.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now we
Yes.
can.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The devil trying to mess with us today, y'all, because I'm sharing this information and trying to inspire people. He don't like that. But
Say it
what I was
again.
saying was there's so yes, ma'am. There's so many different pieces to this puzzle. I was fortunate enough to have support, and which is why I try to be transparent about my journey. There's no hidden secrets to it. If you ask me, I'm not ashamed of anything. The weight loss started way before my VSG surgery, and it's going to continue way after. It takes work, it takes dedication, but it's something I'm very proud of. It's something I embrace. I talk about because it's what changed my life. So I'm grateful for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the hardest part is, if you're a true friend, then it's not just dropping the your observation. It's about being supportive. What can you actually do to help that person? Not just tell them
Yes.
something that they already know, but actually be a supportive. And so one question in the chat is, did you have beyond Gavin a wellness coach of any sort?
So I'll tell you, the weight management program through Ohio Health was amazing. The information, I met with a nutritionist every month, and that nutritionist would go over foods that I should eat, teaching me how to read labels. And then I did monthly weigh-ins. So I would go back and do monthly weigh-ins, and we would talk about how the previous month went, any things that maybe, did I stress eat? Did I eat at night? And just have conversations that was open about it. I also had another friend that had went through it, that he made himself available to answer any questions for me as well. So the information was out there, and I did have the resources. And I'll tell you, I'm a Google person. If I don't know something, I'm gonna Google it. So I spent a lot of time on the internet researching things. And as I started taking my health serious, the information and knowledge is out there. You just gotta look for it. So I made sure I did that as well, in addition to.
So what do you have to say about the surgery itself? Because, I've witnessed several people who've had that surgery, and they ended up gaining all the weight, if not more, back. And so
Yes,
many
ma'am.
people are afraid of it. What would you say was your experience, and why?
Absolutely. For me, it was, if I don't go through with it, I'm killing myself by the way I was eating and the weight that I was. So when you think about, going through surgery, a lot of people are just nervous for surgery in general, right? I'm going through surgery. I'm allowing myself to be opened up for something. But I tell you, I prayed about it. I'm a firm believer of prayer. I prayed about it. And once I made my mind up, I said, this is what I'm going to do. That does not work for everybody as far as them making a quick decision, but I would encourage you, pray about it. Talk to God about it. If it's something that you're on the fence about, he'll show you the signs. He'll give you the answer. One of my signs was being able to once I made the decision, I tell you, I kind of had a few different scenarios where I would be talking to somebody and they would whisper to me and say, hey, I had that surgery. It was the best thing that I had. Right. So he kept sending things my way to say, hey, you're making the right decision. And I'm so grateful for that I was getting signs. I would say going through surgery you're going through surgery. So you are opening yourself up for things. But I would tell you the outcome or the side of it is, to me, it was changing my life. So it was worth the risk of going through something like that. And for those of you that are unfamiliar what the VSG surgery is, what it is they take your stomach. What they do is they go in laparoscopically. They take a few little minor holes, about 5 or 6 of them. So you can't even see them. Now they've been healed up, but little baby, and they stick this little tool in there, and they go and they staple your stomach and pull it out. But let's just say your stomach's about this big. They take it from this size to about this size. The only thing that surgery does is allow you to consume less. If you got unhealthy habits, if you putting the wrong things in your body, it can stretch because it is still skin, it's still an organ. So it can, to your point, there's people that go back the other way. And that's because, again, I don't know their story, but you can stretch it. That's why they say it's a lifestyle change. You have to change your mindset, because that's a temporary again, it is only restricting how much. Where let's just say before I was killing 10 to 15 wings at a sitting, and now I eat about 3 to 4 wings, and I'm full. And I'm not pushing it, and I know my limit. So when I start to get full, I stop myself. I don't overdo it. My body's telling me that I need to stop, and I stop. So that's what it does. It restricts how much you can eat, and that's really the major part of that surgery.
Interesting. Okay. So another question in the chat is, have you how do you maintain your weight loss?
By staying active. I tell people all the time, you got to stay active. And during the pandemic, I guarantee a lot of people will say, man, it was hard to stay active. But there's always something you can do. And you see I'm outside on my deck right now. But there's days where I would just get up, and if I'm not going to the gym like I want to, based off of work, based off of kids and schedule, I may go walk around the neighborhood. I got a treadmill in the basement. I'll go on the treadmill. But I'll tell you, there's things you can do in your house. And that could be just walking up and down your steps a few times, challenging yourself to say, I'm going to do the steps 10 to 15 times. I'm going to go up a few flights. Another trick is, if you're working from home and you're sitting idle, go to the bathroom that's the furthest away yourself more steps. Walk around your island inside the house. But the key is just staying active, staying moving at all times. If you find a way to stay active, you'll find a way to make progress.
Nice. So what brought you the most joy during your journey and now?
Oh man, I could probably write a book about it, but I tell you, there's been so many amazing, what I call non-scale victories from this journey. I mentioned it in the beginning just a little bit, but going from a 5XL and 52 pant, it was hard for me to shop. And as great as I thought I looked, because I know I did, I was limited when it went to shopping. There was only so much that I could buy and only so much that I had to work with being that size. Now, again, I sought hard and, far to try to find it, but it was a lot more difficult. So losing the weight, going from a 5XL now to an extra large t-shirt or a 52 pant down to a 36, I can shop anywhere. So being able to go and buy clothes, it's not as stressful for me. Whereas before it was, oh man, I would almost that's when I would remember that I was bigger, was when I went shopping, right? That was a reminder, like, I guess I can't do anything. Another non-scale victory that I shared through my social media and stuff is I was open about my journey with my kids. I wanted to make sure they knew what I was doing, why I was doing it. So I had a conversation with my youngest at the time, my youngest daughter. Her name is Taryn. And one of the first things she said, she was like, hey, Daddy, when you lose weight, can you ride a roller coaster with me? So to be able to do that stuff, I couldn't. I was unable to do that. That was like a non-scale victory. And it wasn't this summer, but the last summer we went to Columbus Zoo, and I didn't even think about it. I'm with my wife and my kids. We were riding rides. I got on the roller coaster, and when I got off, my wife was like, how was the roller coaster? And I'm like, I just froze and was crying. But it was because I hadn't rode a roller coaster since high school. So those are the moments that are bigger than, the journey, because I get to enjoy these moments with my kids.
Yes.
And I had to be comfortable before acting like I didn't care. Oh, no, I don't want to ride that. Oh, give me your bag. I'll hold it. And when I'm telling you now, when I walk in those theme parks, I'm telling the kids, y'all better keep up because I'm having fun and I'm enjoying those non-scale victories.
That's amazing. That's excellent. Because those are victories that you don't even see it coming. You don't even know it until it happens.
And one lady told me, she was like, your son, my son is 2. She said, he'll never remember you as a big guy. So to know that I was able to change my life now before he gets older. And, I pray that he wants to go throw the baseball or football with his dad. Now I'm more active. Now I'm able to do it without being out of breath or making excuses on why I can't. So when I tell people my journey was bigger than me, these are the moments right here to where I say, when you think about surgery, when you think about going to the gym, when you think about the sacrifices it takes, because it takes sacrifice, right? I mean, my journey wasn't I wake up and I'm skinny. I sacrificed a lot, but it's worth it because look at the moments I'm able to enjoy with my wife and kids that I wasn't before. And the fact that I jumped on it, I bought them a trampoline in the back. I was jumping on the trampoline. I wasn't worried about if it was going to rip or break. You know,
Rip
at
it
400 plus
down.
pounds, there's certain things that I know I can't enjoy. Now I enjoy those things. And when I'm telling you I'm loving, I'm living life, it's almost like God gave me a second chance and I'm enjoying it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now you can share the information that you've learned too about nutrition, about wellness with your children as well. You know, I
Yes,
mean, as part of just
I'll tell you what, they're kids, but they're learning. They make jokes. Daddy's gonna want broccoli. Daddy's gonna want chicken. But it's these are things that I'm now incorporating in our day-to-day life. And the chicken, I tell you what, I eat so much chicken. I'm like the dad from Everybody Hate Chris. We're like, I eat a rotisserie chicken, but I'm gonna turn it into chicken salad. We eat chicken everything around this house, but it's what works for me. So I
Mhm.
salute my wife and kids for putting up with as much chicken as we eat, because we eat a lot of chicken, a lot of fish in this household, and they've been riding on this journey with me too. So
And that's what's important. I have to say, as a wife, and even as a, and even if it's the opposite, the husband, that support is so critical. It's so critical because if you're coming in and you're trying to do one thing and the rest of the family is doing something else, it makes it more difficult.
absolutely, I had a
I just
conversation
give
with
it
my
up
wife
to your
before I
wife.
started. Yes, I talked to her before, and she committed. So just as I committed to my journey, she committed to helping me see it through too. So I give her nothing but praise and credit, at all times, just because she was right there by my side and helping me get through it. So when I see them other women looking now, I'm like, y'all better back up. My wife been rolling with me. Y'all better chill out.
I love it. I love it.
Yes,
Excellent.
ma'am.
Excellent. Great, great. So talk a little bit about you said you did, that eating it can be an addiction and that you did
Oh,
see a
absolutely.
psychiatrist as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had an addiction. If you was to ask me, I would have told you no. And even when I first started seeing a psychiatrist, she's like, "So are you addicted to food?" I'm like, "No, I just eat. We all supposed to eat, right?" I didn't truly
Right,
think about it until I started thinking about. I was a bored slash evening eater. Like throughout the workday, I'm so busy I wasn't. But in the evening, I was bored, or maybe if I was watching a movie, I felt like I had to have something. Or after dinner, I felt like after dinner comes with dessert. Like it was just so a part of my routine that I felt like it was just a part of what I was supposed to do. So if I got bored, I ate. If I, and again, for me, it was more the evenings where some people snack throughout the day. My job consumes
right,
my day to day. So throughout the work day, I wasn't there, but I made up for it in the evening by snacking. And there's nothing wrong with snacking. I don't want to tell people you can't snack, but choose the right things to snack on, right? I was snacking on things that I probably shouldn't, things heavy in sugar, things that sat on me as I was going to sleep that I probably shouldn't have. And now if I get the craving or I want to snack, I'm thinking of what can I snack on that's healthier, right? What can I snack on that's not going to sit on my stomach? And I think that's the piece about being knowledgeable of it. So eating is an addiction. It's an addiction just like somebody could be on drugs or anything else. And which is why I say it's okay to seek medical help. Don't be ashamed to say, you know what, I might have an addiction with it. Let me talk to a doctor, a psychiatrist. Maybe the weight loss surgery is not for you, and that's okay. Ohio Health, who I went through, they have a non-surgical side as well. So a lot of jobs or companies, insurance will pay for you to go through the non-surgical piece where you're still meeting with a nutritionist. You're talking about nutrition, and figuring out maybe what are some of your triggers. And that helps you as well, too. Because if you ask me, that piece of my journey was bigger than the surgery. Like I said, for me to drop 80 pounds on my own, I had dropped 20 to 30 before, but going through that program to be able to drop 80 and say I did it by changing my lifestyle, changing the way I ate and working out, that was no surgery. That was all Terry Harden in the gym, putting in work, eating the right things and sacrificing maybe, because again, I didn't just cold turkey and be like, man, I don't want it. I still wanted it, right? So that's a battle you have to face in your head, because it's like I'm watching people around me do it, and it's like, man, I remember how good that cake was. I remember how good them cookies was. And in the beginning, I had to stop myself from doing it. Now I'll have a cookie, right? But I know for a fact if I have a cookie, I'm making up for it. I'm gonna work out a little bit extra harder. But I allow myself grace at times too. So the journey is a journey. Nobody's journey is perfect. And if you look at me and you think my journey's perfect, you're wrong, because I've had my moments. And I try to share that and be transparent as much as I can with people, because you can't beat yourself up. If you fall off, it's okay. Just find a way to get yourself back on track, and then your why. Keep that back in mind. For me, it was my kids, my wife. I seen people in my 600-pound life and all of that.
Okay. You're going in and out again, Terry. Are you there?
And wanted to. So for me,
Yeah, we're still missing. You're gonna let's try it again. Okay, we're gonna get Terry back here in a second. Okay, while we're waiting on Terry to come back, Mike, did you get some answers from the polls?
Yes, it did, Carla.
Okay.
The poll so
What was the
far.
first one?
The first one was let me get here. Do you battle with weight loss? And 80% said yes. Actually, 77% said yes. The rest said no. 23 said no.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have a buddy? And let me see, put this up here. Do you have a buddy to aid you with your weight loss? 50% said yes. 50 said no.
Okay.
And does your family aid you or hinder you in your weight loss? Actually, 80% said they don't help you. 20% said they do. So,
interesting. Yeah,
not,
that is very interesting. Yeah, that's really the hard part. It really is that support at home. Everyone think, there's often in too many families, people think that, well, that's your journey and not the rest of us. But when you're living in a household together, it really is everyone's journey, and that support can mean, success or failure. It really can, and it's hard. It's really difficult, especially if you're, the daily dinner is something that you shouldn't eat, and so now you have to create something separate from everyone else, and that's difficult. It really is. So do we have Terry back? And thank you everyone for participating in the polls. That was very enlightening. It really was.
No, not this time.
Okay.
He's
All right.
outside.
Yeah, he's outside. It's pretty outside, that's for sure. All right. Let's see if we have any questions that we could just kind of continue our discussion while we're waiting on Terry here. We could ask, so one person asked, did you have high blood pressure or diabetes, if you don't mind answering? And I had that question too. So when he comes back, let's see if he's willing to answer that question. Someone says, my journey is bigger than me, a great name for a book. Yeah, that's the biggest part, is that it's not just the individual's journey. It's what you're doing for not just yourself, but your family, your children, trying to be around longer than, what you're, giving your body a little more time here on earth. Let's see. And then good evening to everyone at the, oh, okay. And then we'll go on. Let's see. So let's see if we can get him back. If not, then we're going to wrap this up. I hate for that to happen, because I still had a few more questions for Terry. His journey has been a very successful one, but also, he has met each of the challenges that come with a weight loss journey, and that we all have seen, if we are on that similar journey, have seen ourselves, the questions and the need for support, that being at an event, or the holidays, and knowing that some things that are on the table to eat aren't necessarily good for your weight loss journey. Yet it's hard to watch everyone else enjoying it, your favorite cake or your favorite pie, or even sweet potatoes with all the sugar on top of it. So those are difficult times, but staying steadfast is difficult. It really is. All right, we're going to give Terry a call, see if we can get him to rejoin here. Mike, did you want to give him a call, please?
Just 1 second, Carla. We're working with you right now.
Okay, wonderful. Great. Thank you all for your patience. I appreciate it. I hope you had a wonderful not Thanksgiving, but July 4th holiday with your family and friends. Now we're back into the thickest of summer. So again, this is a great time to get out there and walk and enjoy the sunny days ahead. I know it's going to be a little hot, but in the mornings or in the evenings, take advantage of, if you can, walking and doing your favorite exercises, or maybe even going out to some of the parks. We have a number of groups within New Salem Baptist Church where they're actually going to the different metro parks and walking together, which is a lot of fun, and other activities. So this is a good time. I know I found myself over the years that I always drop a few pounds in the summer times, because you can get out and do some things that you can't do during the winter. But as Terry said, it doesn't matter whether it's a pandemic or it's 10 feet of snow outside. There's always ways, even within your own house, where you can get out there and go up and down your stairs, or walk around your house, or do different things, exercise. If you have equipment, utilize that equipment and find ways to motivate yourself, just to get those extra exercise hours in. I know I find it hard to do, but if I push myself while I'm in the middle of it, it becomes something very fun. So I just got to it's getting started. That's the hard part. Once you get in it, you can keep it going, but it's just getting started. So, but the whole idea of exercising throughout the week and eating right is so important. And of course, as we always talk about on our show, eating those leafy green vegetables as often as possible, definitely daily, is always helpful as well, as far as our overall health. So how are we coming, Mike? We got Terry back for a couple more questions before we end today.
Can't get him. Still working with him.
Okay.
His internet
all right.
dropped out at his house.
Can he join by phone? Just cellular?
We're trying that.
Yeah, let's try that. That would be great. So, okay. So next week, just to give you a heads up as to who will be our guest next week. I'm looking for it right now. She is an expert in developing, building small businesses, how to build that business and keep it going. 1 second, and I will tell you more. Okay, so next week, which is Wednesday, July 14th, we will have with us Sister Monica Womack, who will lead a discussion on the steps to starting and owning a small business. And she has started, and she owns a couple of her own small businesses. So she will be joining us next week. It'll be a great discussion. It's all about wellness, as you know, our financial wellness, as well as our discussions today with Terry on our own health, our bodies, etc. But she is really a wealth of knowledge and plenty of, so make sure you bring your questions, especially if you're thinking about starting your own small business or have already started one and just still have some more questions on how to help, make it grow. So join us
Terry's
next
back.
week for that.
Terry's
Terry, you're back. Yay! Terry, I was going to hang on as long as I possibly could because
And I'm so
I know
thankful
we
you
have a
did.
couple more questions.
I'm telling you, look, God know I haven't been tuning into those sessions. So the devil was trying to attack me today, but God know my heart, and I'm trying to inspire. So I'm back. I just prayed. I said,
That's
God, let's
right.
get to work.
Well, he said, okay, Terry, we going to make
Well,
this work.
I appreciate y'all's patience for this. I truly do. And again, to be able to come and speak to everyone this afternoon, it is a pleasure and an honor. And I thank Mrs. Troy for reaching out to me to be able to come and talk to everybody about wellness. I'm not sure where I left off or what I cut off at, but I'll tell you, to anybody that's out there on a journey right now, I encourage you to think about how important and what that journey means to you first and foremost, and figure out your why. When you know your why, it makes your journey a whole heck of a lot easier, because you'll keep that in the back of your mind the moment you want to give up, because it's a journey and it won't be easy. But I'll tell you, the moments that I've had to where I felt like, man, this is a lot, or it takes a lot of work. I think about my wife, I think about my kids, as my why, and that's what's motivated me. So I highly encourage anybody, think about why it's important to you. So when you say I want to lose weight or I want to be healthier, well, why? Why is it important to you? If it's just to look good, I tell you, sometimes that reason ain't enough. You got to dig deep and figure out, from the heart, why is it you want to make these changes, and then use that in the back of your mind to keep pushing you through, because it won't be easy. You're gonna have your moments, and I also would say stay close to God, right? There's many days that I didn't know if I would make it because I'm like, man, I'm starving, or I want to change, or I want to do this, but I prayed. I replaced some of my food addictions with prayer, and talking to God rather than putting food in my system. And I think that was important for me in my journey too. So we pray to God when we want everything else, materialistic things. We want promotions at work. When we want everything else. Put God in your plan. Add Him as a piece of your journey, and talk to Him, because when you get weak, I guarantee you He'll help guide you through it. It won't be easy, but He'll be there by your side. And he won't let you down. So a few things that helped me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, okay, so what do you snack on? That was my
So
question.
I got a few go-tos.
Okay.
Apples. I love apples and applesauce because it's something that gives me a sweet kind of craving. I do a lot of berries, so your berries, and then I stick with a lot of things that I started when I went through my initial part of my journey. They had me eating Greek yogurt. So it's
Uh,
called Triple Zero, or what
mm-hmm,
is the other one? It's by Danon's, but they make great Greek yogurt, and it's high in
mm-hmm.
protein, and they're pretty good. So those are some of my go-to snacks. I also drink protein shakes, and not that I'm sponsored by Premier Protein now, because I am, but I do love Premier Protein shakes, and those are another go-to for myself. Whenever I feel like I want a craving on something, I maybe drink a protein shake. But there's so many things. I'll tell you, the biggest thing is the label reading, right? So while those snacks work for me, one thing that I look at when I'm looking at snacking is, what are the sugars? What are the carbs, right? And I'm like, are you turning into this health nut? But I want to know what I'm putting in my body. And I don't want to put things
Right.
heavy in sugar. So I use like the rule of 10, right? Is it more than 10 grams of sugar? Is it more than 10 grams of carb? And that works for me. And I also think about the protein for me. Am I getting enough protein in? So I look at that with any snacks that I intake. And I say another snack is probably not the healthy. I like popcorn. So whenever I want something light, I may go snack on some Smart Pop white cheddar popcorn. I'm not sponsored by them yet, but hey, I'm speaking into existence, God. If you want me to work with them, send them my way. But that's another snack that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful. And it's about portions too, right?
Absolutely. You got. I tell you, when I look at the portions that I used to eat, I'll use this. I'll tell you a quick story. It won't be long, but it was the November Thanksgiving before I went and had the surgery. I'd already started changing my life. I'd already started working out. When I looked at Thanksgiving dinner and watched everybody eating Thanksgiving dinner, I was so disgusted. I'm like, you about to eat all of that? And I wasn't judgmental, but I had changed my portion sizes because for so
Mm-hmm.
long I was just like everybody else, right? We do so many things surrounded by food, and I can't wait till Thanksgiving. I can't wait till, and then we just
Yep.
overstuff ourselves, and our plates are just, the portions are crazy. So now when I'm eating, they make fun of me. I got little baby plates, but I didn't need the portions. Even when I didn't need the portions that I was getting. But I naturally, my eyes was bigger than my body, and my big body was pretty big, but my eyes was there, and I really, really wanted a lot of food. So I did. My portions were huge, and I had to realize that. And the good thing is, when I changed my wife now changes hers. So even now that she's not going through any of that, she's been able to drop weight. She's been able to live a healthier lifestyle, and she's changed, to your point, her portion sizes and being like, man, I was eating what you eat, and we were almost, this was our portions. And I grew up in a home where you eat everything on your plate. So if you put all of that on your plate, you felt like you had to eat it.
Yep.
So now we start small. If you happen to want to go back, and we tell our kids too, right? When you eat, wait a second. Don't. If you're hungry, I tell you to wait 10 minutes or so. See if you're still hungry, drink some water. And then if you're still hungry, then we'll talk about maybe going back for seconds. But a lot of the times the food hasn't caught up to your body yet. So you thinking you're still hungry, and you may not be at times too. So these are just some things that I learned by going through that program that I think has been beneficial in allowing yourself time. So when you're thinking about going up for that second place, and anybody can do this, give yourself, 10 minutes. If you're still hungry after that, then maybe try to find something else you can replace it with. But I tell you, a lot of times you'll realize it was mental more than you actually being hungry.
Right. And how do you feel? So after that Thanksgiving, and now that you eat smaller portions, etc., what's the difference in how you feel? Because I know when we're eating a whole lot, I know even with myself, if I eat a large portion like we used to for Thanksgiving, you were going off and taking a nap somewhere, right?
You feel sluggish, right? I mean, I would tell you that's probably one of the greatest things is I'm not sluggish no more, and I can tell if I've overdone it. So again, I'm not perfect. So when I'm telling you this, I'm not saying I'm better, but I'm not overdoing it to where I'm sitting there in a food coma. We've all been there. That eat and you go sit on that couch and there's no getting up because you've overdone it and your body's just like, I had enough. I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel that because I'm not pushing myself to the limit. I'm eating and I still enjoy good food. So that don't change, right? I mean, there's still certain things that I'm like, man, I want some of that. But I allow myself grace in eating it. But I make sure I'm not eating the portions that I was eating before. I'm not eating as much as I was eating. And I'm not staying in that moment and overdoing it because it's so good. This is good. I'm glad I got to have some. And I allow it to stay there. And I know I'll be able to enjoy it again down the line. But I tell you, because I feel like I look so good, it ain't worth it to me. So I say, you know what? It ain't worth that extra bite. Like I might go have to walk by the mirror and be like, do you really want that extra bite? Now you look too nice to go back and get another one. So I got to remind myself every now and again too.
And so that's a great segue because we were supposed to show some pictures at the beginning of this conversation, and we got to talking and didn't do it. So let's I know you shared some pictures here, and I want to share it with the audience. There we go. That's you now today, right?
There. Oh man, he looked nice.
Look at that handsome guy. This handsome. All right.
Yep, that
and
was
you were
me.
handsome before too, but you feel better now. Go
Absolutely.
ahead.
That was me. My golf game got better too now that I lost some weight. So if any golfers out there, it definitely helps your game when you're not carrying around 400 and something pounds. So you lose a little bit, your game gets better. That's me. Shout out to the brothers at Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I called this it was a thank you to the old me. So when I posted this picture, it was the old me looking at me now, and I was telling the old me, I'll never forget you.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
And that's outdoors. So this summer I got vaccinated. I'm back outside. So I'm enjoying the nice weather. That was me outside before, very similar. I think I might have been around the same park. Me just outside enjoying life. You see my shorts got a little smaller. I can show off a little bit more leg, but I'm enjoying the transition there too.
Yeah, I see the above the knee there. Okay, now.
Yeah, my knees is out all summer. You're going to see all kneecaps and elbows this summer. But just a few journeys. Like I said, I share a lot of this on my social media through my Instagram account at Just a Dope Dad. I try to share transformation pics, but I also share motivational quotes. I think it's important for us as we start our days to be able to just hear some stuff, not to promo, but I'm wearing a shirt Dope Black Dad. During the pandemic, I started Dope Black Dads LLC, where I'm also sharing every morning positive affirmations, just for us fathers. But I'll tell you, I got a lot of women that support, and the quotes and motivation pieces go for all of us. But it's just a good way to start our day with positive things in our mindset before we start our day. So again, the journey has changed my life so much that it would be so selfish of me not to share it. So I feel like I've completely changed my life in the sense of being like, God helped me, friends helped me, my wife and kids helped me. So now, to me, my job is to keep inspiring. So if you see on any of my pictures, a lot of them, I share that little hashtag at the bottom where it says keep inspiring, because I think it's important that throughout my journey, I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm trying to inspire other people to say, if I can do it, you can do it too. And I'm hoping I'm showing you that I'm a normal guy. There's nothing special about me. I mean, I've been special, but nothing special when it comes to weight loss, other than somebody who decided to change their life, put in work to save my life. So if I can do it, you can do it too. And I'm here to support and inspire in any way that I can.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're blessed that you have that attitude and approach, and that we are able to hear your journey and be inspired by it. Thank you so much. Before we go, I always like for my guests to take, a time to just kind of give some parting words to the audience, things that you want them to remember. So why don't you go for it?
Absolutely. I thought you were going to ask to see my viral shimmy that's been going on in the internet, but I'll save that for another day.
Well, everybody, is that on your Instagram?
It's them shoulders. It's the Kappa in me. But again, that's not why we're here today. But I will share with you all, again, everybody on their journey. Hopefully, if nothing else today, I put a smile on your face. I share my journey. Like I said before, don't be ashamed of saving your life. So if you're thinking about it, considering it, I'm opening myself up as an open book for anybody that has any questions. But I tell you, the first thing is to find your why. I'll leave you with that. Make sure you know exactly why you're starting your journey, why it's important to you. The second thing is there's information out there, whether you go through a weight management program or not, there's information out there on the internet that can truly help you. And it's just about knowledge. Knowledge is power. That's a true thing. And there's so many great resources out there for us to learn about when it comes to weight loss. And then consistency. Be consistent with it. If you set your mind to it, be consistent. For so long, I did just like this, just like everybody else, where I yo-yoed. And I looked at life as like a diet, right? I'm going on a diet. Well, the lifestyle I live right now is not a diet. It's a lifestyle. It is me. It's a part of me. And I made some major changes that I feel will last a lot longer than a diet would, because that's temporary. What I'm going through is lifelong. So I highly encourage anybody that's thinking about, anybody that's struggling with weight, don't be afraid to talk to a doctor about it. Ask your physician next time you're in there if there's any type of programs that they have that's for you. Again, whether it's medical weight loss or whether it's just a program for you to learn more about nutrition, information's out there. You just got to ask about it. And the last thing I'll leave you with is I'm rooting for you all. Again, my journey has been life-changing for me, but I want to see us all win. I want to see us all live healthy lives. I want to see us all be around for a very long time. And you have the power inside you to do it if it's something you want to do. So just take it a day at a time. Allow yourself grace when you fall off. But at the end of the day, you can make it happen.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Terry, for joining us today. We had a few technical difficulties, but in between, we got some great inspirational gems here, and really, really appreciate you.
Yep.
Love it. So we'll have to come back and later, maybe next year, and tell us how you're continuing your journey, because that's always the challenge, is the maintenance.
It's maintenance. It's being active, and like I said, I would love to come back. So thank you all. Thank you to my home, New Salem, for allowing me to come on and speak to everyone this afternoon. I greatly appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for the questions that were asked today. But I'll tell you, I encourage you, if you have questions after this segment, don't hesitate to ask.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up tonight. Thanks again, Terry. Thanks, Mike, for helping out here today. Thank you all for jumping in on the chat with your questions and your words of encouragement and inspiration. Greatly appreciated. This is Wellness Wednesday. Once again, thanks again. And as I always say, stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you. Oh, look at the little one. Awesome. We'll see you next week. Take care.
All right. See ya.